In a world that constantly demands our attention, where external pressures and distractions often leave us feeling ungrounded, the quest for inner peace and self-worth can seem like an elusive goal. Amid the noise, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a timeless path to true tranquility and confidence, one that is not dependent on external circumstances or validation. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate a sense of inner stability and presence that is profound and undeniable, so much so that it can be felt by those around us without a single word spoken. By focusing on what we can control, living in alignment with virtue, and developing emotional resilience, Stoicism provides a powerful framework for living with purpose, peace, and authenticity in a chaotic world. This exploration will delve into how Stoic principles can help us build an unshakable sense of self-worth and create a lasting inner calm, guiding us to a life of profound presence and fulfillment. Finding inner peace and self-worth through Stoicism in a modern world. In today's fast-paced, often chaotic world, the search for inner peace and self-worth can feel like a relentless, uphill battle. We are bombarded by external expectations, fleeting societal standards, and constant distractions, all of which can cloud our sense of purpose and undermine our confidence. Yet, amid this overwhelming noise, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a refuge, timeless wisdom that can guide us toward a presence so profound that it is felt by everyone we encounter, without us needing to say a word. This is the power of living according to the Stoic principles of self-control, virtue, and perspective. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that the source of true peace and self-worth comes not from external validation, circumstances, or material achievements, but from cultivating an inner state of tranquility and virtuous living. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable and open ourselves to a more meaningful existence. 1. The foundation of inner peace, control what you can. One of the central tenets of Stoicism, as taught by Epictetus, is the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. Some things are up to us, and some things are not, he wrote. This simple yet profound insight offers the key to reducing stress and anxiety. In a world that encourages us to chase after external approval and possessions, Stoicism redirects our focus inward toward the only real source of control: our own actions, thoughts, and responses. When we come to understand that the world's turbulence is not ours to govern, we are free from the struggle of trying to shape the uncontrollable. We can choose instead to live with purpose, knowing that our worth is not determined by external forces, but by the integrity with which we act. This understanding is crucial to maintaining inner peace. The Stoic practice of daily reflection invites us to examine our emotions, responses, and desires, separating those that are within our power from those that are not. By aligning our actions with our core values, we come to recognize that true peace resides in the present moment, in our ability to act in accordance with virtue, not in the result or the opinions of others. 2. The pursuit of virtue as the path to self-worth. Stoicism teaches that our worth is rooted not in how others perceive us, but in how we conduct ourselves in relation to virtue. The Stoic virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are the highest goods in life, and they define our character. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, repeatedly reminds us that the true measure of a person is found not in wealth, status, or external recognition, but in the consistency with which they practice virtue. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, he writes. In this inner quality, our ability to align our thoughts and actions with virtue is the true source of self-worth. By focusing on developing and embodying these virtues, we begin to cultivate an intrinsic sense of value, independent of outside influences. Self-worth is no longer tied to approval from others, but to the steadfast commitment to living a virtuous life. When we live with wisdom, choosing reason over impulse, and with courage, standing firm in our principles even in the face of adversity, we cultivate a deep sense of confidence. We know that we are fulfilling our role as rational, virtuous beings, and that is enough. 3. Presence through acceptance and detachment. A critical aspect of Stoic peace is the acceptance of life as it unfolds, without resistance. This does not mean passive resignation, but rather an active embrace of reality as it is, without wishing it were different. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By accepting the impermanence of life and embracing its inherent uncertainties, we free ourselves from the desire to control or resist what cannot be changed. This acceptance fosters a deep sense of inner peace, as we learn to remain grounded even in times of turmoil. The Stoic practice of detachment is a natural extension of this acceptance. Detachment allows us to interact with the world fully, without becoming overly attached to outcomes or external circumstances. This does not mean withdrawing from life, but rather engaging with it fully while remaining unattached to the things we cannot control. When we detach our sense of self-worth from external circumstances such as how others view us, our material possessions, or our status, we unlock a profound sense of self-sufficiency. We find that our peace does not rely on the ever-shifting tides of external validation, but is rooted deeply in our own integrity and inner stillness. 4. Emotional resilience. Mastering your responses. In a world where emotional reactions often feel instantaneous and out of our control, Stoicism teaches us the power of rational response. Rather than being swept away by the storm of emotions, Stoicism invites us to examine the source of our feelings and choose how we respond. The Stoic concept of a pathway of freedom from rational passion is not the suppression of emotions, but the cultivation of emotional resilience. It is the ability to acknowledge our feelings, understand their causes, and then decide how best to act in response. This process begins with self-awareness. Stoics practice mindfulness of their internal state, noticing when emotions arise, and taking a step back to reflect on whether these emotions are in alignment with reason and virtue. By learning to respond rather than react, we build emotional resilience, developing the ability to remain calm and composed even in the face of adversity. This emotional mastery, in turn, enhances our inner peace and self-worth, as we no longer depend on external situations to dictate our emotional state. 5. The power of presence, living in the here and now. The Stoics teach that true peace comes from focusing on the present moment, where life is truly lived. Confine yourself to the present, Marcus Aurelius urges. The constant distractions of modern life, the pull of the past, the anxiety about the future can rob us of our peace, making us forget that the only moment that truly matters is now. By practicing mindfulness and living fully in the present, we connect with the world around us in a deeper, more meaningful way. When we ground ourselves in the present, we cultivate a presence that is both powerful and serene. This presence emanates from a sense of purpose and clarity, unaffected by the noise of external validation or future uncertainties. It is a presence that speaks volumes without uttering a word, for when we are truly present, others can feel our steadiness and authenticity. By embracing the now, we access a profound sense of calm and self-worth that remains unshaken by the external world. 6. Remembering mortality. The wisdom of memento mori. Finally, the Stoics encourage us to reflect regularly on the reality of our mortality. Memento mori, remember that you will die, is not a morbid exercise but a profound reminder to live with purpose. By contemplating the transient nature of life, we are reminded to cherish each moment and invest our energy in what truly matters. This awareness helps us put trivial concerns into perspective, reducing the weight of external pressures that often cause us to question our self-worth. It encourages us to live with integrity, knowing that time is our most precious resource. By embracing our mortality, we become less attached to fleeting desires and more focused on what will endure. The development of our character, the cultivation of virtue, and the impact we leave on the world. This perspective strengthens our sense of self-worth, as we recognize that a life well lived is one rooted in virtue, not in the passing judgments or achievements of others. Stoicism offers us a timeless guide for finding inner peace and cultivating self-worth in a world filled with distractions and external pressures. Through the practices of focusing on what we can control, embracing virtue, accepting life's impermanence, and mastering our emotional responses, we can develop a profound sense of inner tranquility. This presence, rooted in acceptance, resilience, and mindfulness, not only brings us peace, but also leaves an indelible mark on everyone we encounter. When we live according to the wisdom of Stoicism, our self-worth becomes unshakable, and our inner peace becomes a beacon that influences the world around us, without us having to say a word.